Welcome back to the Cash Kicks channel for expert sports analysis. Today, we'll be covering the November 27th, 2025 college football best team picks, total picks, and in-depth breakdowns based on previous performances. Stay ahead of the game with our winning insights. And for even more exclusive parlay picks, check out our channel membership. Now come to the video. Navy Midshipmen versus Memphis Tigers. The collision course is set. Navy enters at 8-2 overall and 6-1 in the American, holding firm in the upper tier of the conference standings and carrying the urgency of a team determined to validate its late-season rise. Memphis counters at 8-3 overall and 4-3 in league play, trailing in the conference race but still very much a threat with a high-powered offense and a roster built for explosive surges. The stakes are unmistakable. Navy aims to preserve its climb toward the top of the conference hierarchy, while Memphis seeks to protect its home field and cement its identity as one of the league's most dynamic big strike units. The win probability projection gives Memphis a commanding edge, with an 80.9% likelihood compared to Navy's 19.1%, a gap that reflects both the Tigers' offensive firepower and the way their personnel match up with Navy's structure. Yet projections do not define outcomes. They only sharpen the drama. What unfolds will be decided at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, where the tempo, toughness, and nerve of each roster will shape a game loaded with postseason implications. The season tells a story of two dramatically different identities arriving at the same moment, ready to test which approach can survive the pressure of late November football. Navy's blueprint leans on physicality, persistence, and the kind of situational discipline that has produced timely stops and timely scores. The Midshipmen have been crafted through balance and resilience, led by Blake Horvath, whose dual threat production has dragged the offense forward in grinding stretches. He has thrown for 1,290 yards with 8 touchdowns against 5 interceptions, completing 62.3% of his passes while contributing another 986 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground. Navy's attack is built through layers rather than bursts, and Horvath is the hinge on which all of it moves. Supporting him is Alex Texa, who adds 669 rushing yards at 6.3 yards per carry, a valuable extension of the Midshipmen's option-oriented pressure on opposing fronts. In the passing game, the primary spark comes from Eli Heidenreich, a reliable and efficient target with 38 receptions for 741 yards and 4 touchdowns, averaging a stunning 19.5 yards per catch. When Navy strikes through the air, it does so decisively. Memphis counters with a more vertical, more statistically overwhelming offensive engine. Quarterback Brendan Lewis has amassed 2,395 passing yards with 13 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, completing 71.7% of his throws. He attacks with tempo and confidence, directing an offense that can inflict damage at all 3 levels. His ability to read pressure and deliver in rhythm has powered the Tigers to the top of the conference in passing production. The run game is anchored by Sutton Smith, who has recorded 644 rushing yards at 6.7 yards per attempt with 7 touchdowns. Memphis has the capacity to toggle between pace and patience, and that flexibility makes them more unpredictable than most league opponents. Their receiving core is led by Cortez Bram Jr., who has posted 824 yards and 7 touchdowns on 59 receptions, averaging 14 yards per catch. He is the matchup challenge that forces defenses to alter coverages before the ball is even snapped. Surrounding him, Jamari Hawkins adds 587 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns at 17.8 yards per catch, stretching defenses vertically while Bram punishes coverage gaps underneath. When the Tigers lock into rhythm through the air, their offense becomes one of the most difficult to contain in the conference. Defensively, the contrast is just as pronounced. Navy leans on its tackling efficiency and pursuit angles, anchored by Mark Anthony Parker, who leads the team with 80 tackles, along with steady production from the front 7. Linebacker play has defined their identity, though the defense has absorbed moments of stress against high-volume passing teams. L. Robinson provides 5.5 sacks, giving the Midshipmen a much-needed disruptor at the line of scrimmage, while Philip Hamilton leads the secondary with 2 interceptions. Navy's defense relies on structure, forcing offenses to sustain long drives, a formula that often amplifies their chances to win late. Memphis deploys heavier firepower on the defensive side, most notably through Sam Brumfield, who leads the Tigers with 89 tackles and reinforces the stability of their interior. He has become the heartbeat of their defensive unit, extending plays, closing rushing lanes, and dictating tempo for Memphis's second level. Brumfield also contributes 4.5 sacks, providing a blend of physicality and finishing power. The Tigers' pass rush leans on burst and leverage, and Kamari Wilson's 2 interceptions anchor a secondary that relies on calculated risk-taking. While Memphis has endured inconsistencies, their top-end playmakers specialize in timely momentum shifts. A game that tilts into a shootout benefits the Tigers. One that morphs into a possession war favors the Midshipmen. The recent form of both teams adds depth to this matchup. Navy's last 5 games form a pattern of resilience followed by rebound. The Midshipmen beat USF 41-38, survived FAU 42-32, and edged Temple 32-31. But the losses to Notre Dame at 49-10 and North Texas at 31-17 reveal fissures that can widen if their offense falls into early deficits. Navy's 2 late-season defeats were anything but competitive, and those lopsided scorelines underline just how vulnerable the Midshipmen become when they are pushed out of their preferred rhythm, forced to abandon balance, and compelled to chase points through unfamiliar means. Yet their victories present a strong counterpoint. When the tempo aligns with their strengths and the line of scrimmage tilts in their favor, Navy can impose its will, dictate rhythm, and steadily grind down opponents through patient, methodical pressure. Those late-game surges are more than isolated moments. They reveal a team identity that flourishes when it controls field position, manages pace on its own terms, and turns incremental advantages into decisive momentum. Memphis's last 5 outings paint a volatile yet equally illuminating picture of their current trajectory. They dropped a 31-27 matchup to ECU, a contest that slipped away in the closing minutes despite several late opportunities. Their 38-32 loss to Tulane followed a similar script, an explosive, back-and-forth offensive showcase ultimately decided by a handful of critical defensive lapses. Still, those setbacks are framed by decisive victories that highlight the team's ceiling. Their 38-14 win over Rice showcased the most complete iteration of their attack, with Lewis slicing through the secondary with confidence and precision, while Smith imposed his physicality on the ground, giving Memphis a balanced identity they have been striving to reclaim with greater consistency. The Tigers also secured a hard-fought 34-31 win over USF, absorbing a constant barrage of counterpunches while still finishing with composure and poise. Even their 34-24 loss to UAB offers a revealing insight into their identity. Memphis can generate points in virtually any setting, yet their defense becomes vulnerable when opponents expose leverage issues on early downs and dictate tempo. As they enter this matchup, the Tigers bring abundant offensive firepower and confidence. But their recent performances emphasize an even more urgent truth: the need for steadier defensive execution if they hope to fully capitalize on their potential and maintain control in high-pressure moments. Within this broader narrative, the quarterback showdown stands as the defining element of the matchup. Blake Horvath and Brendan Lewis represent not only different styles, but entirely different strategic paths to victory. Horvath embodies Navy's identity as a balanced, multi-layered offense, using efficiency and versatility rather than overwhelming volume. His 76 completions on 122 attempts, paired with 62.3% accuracy and 10.6 yards per attempt, mark him as a calculated passer, one who throws selectively but effectively. His decisions often arrive off play action or after defensive hesitation, leveraging the run game to open vertical lanes and forcing second-level defenders to hesitate. His 8 passing touchdowns against 5 interceptions show a quarterback who protects the ball while still risking just enough to keep defenses honest and to prevent opponents from overcommitting to the box. But Horvath's greatest value comes in the rushing phase, where the full texture of Navy's offense comes alive. With 159 carries, 986 yards, 6.2 yards per attempt, and 13 rushing touchdowns, he is the gravitational force around which the entire attack orbits. Every mesh point becomes a moment of pressure on defenders, and his ability to manipulate pursuit angles turns modest plays into chain-moving gains. His command of the option, reading leverage, anticipating shifts, and reacting with split-second clarity, dictates the midshipman's rhythm. When he accelerates through a crease or forces a linebacker to commit too early, he creates not just yardage but tempo, momentum, and an identity that is uniquely tied to Navy's offensive philosophy. Brendan Lewis, by contrast, thrives in an offensive structure designed to amplify creativity, tempo, and controlled improvisation. Operating with a confidence that reflects both system and skill, Lewis has attempted 307 passes and completed 220 of them, an impressive 71.7% that underscores his command of Memphis's rhythm-based passing game. His 2,395 passing yards at 7.8 yards per attempt reflect not just volume, but efficiency, evidence of a quarterback who marries patience with decisive execution. Lewis excels at attacking the seams, threading throws into tight windows, and distributing the ball across a diverse receiving corps without becoming predictable. His 13 touchdowns embody a measured aggression, while the 6 interceptions serve as reminders that his willingness to challenge defenses occasionally invites risk. What makes Lewis particularly difficult to defend is his ability to extend plays without compromising accuracy. Even when protection begins to bend, he maintains poise, resets his platform, and delivers catchable throws. His chemistry with Cortez Bram Jr. has elevated Memphis's perimeter threats, giving the Tigers a receiver who can punish even slight hesitations or misalignments in coverage. Their timing on back shoulder throws, sideline comebacks, and vertical isolations forces defenses to commit resources wide, creating space for Memphis to attack elsewhere. Lewis also offers situational value as a runner. Though not the focal point of the ground game, his mobility provides a meaningful secondary dimension, capable of picking up first downs, manipulating edge defenders, and extending red zone plays that keep drives alive. These tendencies contrast sharply with Horvath's methodical, layered approach, turning the quarterback duel into a contest of rhythm and pace. Horvath probing and structuring drives with patience, Lewis firing in rapid sequences and pushing the game's tempo to its limits. As the matchup transitions into deeper tactical territory, the contrast in each team's approach becomes even more pronounced, sharpening the analytical lens through which the game must be viewed. The opening and perhaps most decisive confrontation will unfold at the line of scrimmage, where control and physicality shape every downstream outcome. Navy's foremost objective is to dominate the trenches, shorten the game's overall possession count, and create long, methodical drives that compress the field. By doing so, they force Memphis to defend in confined spaces, limiting the Tigers' opportunities to unleash their trademark explosiveness. Memphis, on the other hand, intends to speed up the rhythm of the game. With an offense built around chunk plays and a passing attack capable of stretching defenses horizontally and vertically, the Tigers will aim to widen the field, test Navy's tackling ability in open space, and elevate the scoring pace into the 30-point range or higher. For Navy to stay competitive and ultimately steal a win, They must disrupt Memphis's offensive timing and reduce the Tigers' comfort in early downs. Their defense cannot afford to concede quick back-breaking scoring drives. Instead, they must force Memphis to string together extended sequences of plays, increasing the likelihood of mistakes or stalled possessions. Consistent pressure from Robinson, paired with disciplined edge containment and sound assignment execution, becomes essential. Meanwhile, Memphis's offensive line, which has anchored an attack featuring a 2,395-yard passer and a 644-yard rusher, must assert itself early. Winning first and second down will prevent Navy from dictating tempo and will create the kind of open field scenarios in which the Tigers' athletes thrive. Turnovers will be a defining factor, not merely as isolated mistakes, but as potential turning points capable of reshaping the flow of the game. Navy's offense, built around methodical drives and possession control, does not thrive when forced into comeback scenarios, making ball security absolutely essential. A single fumble or poorly timed turnover can disrupt the rhythm of their option-based attack and place them in situations that demand more passing volume than they prefer. Memphis, operating with a higher volume, high-frequency passing attack, naturally carries greater interception risk, yet the Tigers also possess the firepower to erase mistakes quickly with explosive scoring drives that span only a handful of plays. Their margin for recovery is wider, but turnovers would still provide Navy with the short fields necessary to impose its preferred pace. Special teams' stability could quietly swing a tight contest, especially if possessions grow long and field position begins dictating the tactical choices available to both coaching staffs. A single miscue, whether a shanked punt, a missed assignment in coverage, or a field goal lapse, could create momentum shifts that neither team can afford in a matchup where efficiency is crucial. Coaching adjustments will be equally pivotal. Navy's staff has long excelled in situational management, red zone creativity, and exploiting defensive hesitation within the option framework. Memphis, by contrast, leans on tempo, spacing, and deliberate matchup manipulation, seeking to expose defensive tendencies and stress perimeter assignments. If the Tigers find early success through the air, they may force Navy's linebackers into wider zones, softening the interior and opening rushing lanes for Sutton Smith, who thrives when defenses are spread thin. Conversely, if Navy's run game settles into its characteristic rhythm, methodically grinding out first downs and shrinking the number of total possessions, Memphis may be compelled to commit extra bodies to the box. Such adjustments would inevitably create opportunities for deep shots to Heidenreich, whose big play potential becomes even more dangerous when defenders are frozen by the threat of the option. In a matchup where every possession carries strategic weight, the interplay of turnovers, field position, and adaptive coaching could ultimately decide the outcome. X factors loom across the field, shaping not only the tactical landscape, but also the subtle momentum swings that can redefine the rhythm of the matchup. For Navy, the most prominent variable is Heidenreich, whose explosive yards per catch average turns what should be low-volume passing attempts into high-impact opportunities. His ability to win downfield or exploit defensive misalignments forces opponents to respect Navy's aerial threat just enough to open lanes for the option game. When Navy chooses its moments wisely, a single Heidenreich reception can flip field position, energize the sideline, and momentarily pull the defense out of its comfort zone. For Memphis, the combination of Hawkins's vertical speed and Bram's reliability provides a dual threat that stretches defensive structures to their limits. Hawkins demands safety attention on nearly every snap, creating natural spacing advantages for Memphis's route concepts. Bram complements him by consistently winning underneath or on timing-based patterns, giving the quarterback dependable outlets that keep the offense on schedule. Together, they force defenses to defend every blade of grass, widening gaps and making Memphis's already potent passing system even harder to contain. Defensively, Brumfield's presence gives Memphis a physical anchor capable of matching Navy's power-centric approach. His ability to shed blocks, clog interior lanes, and generate early contact helps Memphis prevent the Midshipmen from dictating tempo with long, grind-heavy drives. On the other side, Parker's tackling volume and dependability offer Navy a stabilizing force against Memphis's perimeter explosiveness. His discipline in space, an area where Memphis often overwhelms opponents, could be the difference between routine gains and breakaway plays. Together, these X factors shape not only how each team executes its identity, but how quickly they can adapt to the unpredictable shifts of an in-game battle. The prediction must account for all of these components: the statistical realities, stylistic contrasts, recent performance trends, and the specific matchup challenges that define how these two programs collide. Memphis enters the game with a noticeably superior passing attack, supported by deeper and more dynamic perimeter threats, and led by a quarterback who consistently sustains elite efficiency even when the tempo accelerates and the field opens up. Navy, meanwhile, counters with its trademark discipline, a versatile quarterback capable of managing complex option reads, and a run game that can drain the clock and dominate entire quarters once it settles into its familiar rhythm. Still, the matchup's decisive factor is Memphis's ability to stretch the field horizontally and vertically, creating stress points that few defenses handle well for 4 full quarters. If the Tigers establish an early scoring cushion, Navy risks being forced away from its foundational structure and into a pace that does not favor its identity. Memphis has repeatedly shown that its offense can layer scores quickly and relentlessly, and Navy's 2 most recent losses highlight the danger of falling behind against opponents with high-powered aerial systems capable of turning small leads into insurmountable ones. Memphis's overall makeup, highlighted by their quarterback's precision, the versatility and depth of their receiving core, and a defense capable of producing timely stops, places them in a strong position to control the tempo from start to finish. While Navy's discipline, physicality, and ability to execute long, methodical drives will allow them to remain competitive and potentially dictate certain stretches, Memphis's offensive firepower, coupled with the energy and momentum they gain from playing at home, ultimately shifts the advantage in their favor. Navy may challenge them with resilience, but Memphis holds the more complete tool set to secure the upper hand. After analyzing both teams, my first pick for this match is Memphis winner. Memphis's efficiency through the air and its ability to convert in crucial moments will separate the Tigers late. Navy's resilience will keep the game competitive, but Memphis's explosive playmakers and balanced offensive structure will ultimately determine the outcome. My second pick for this match is total over 55.5,